Yo guys, this is Smilinmonster back with another Albion online video. In this video we're going to talk about one of the best speed clearing builds, so let's get to it. The king of speed clearing builds. The Greataxe has held the title of king of speed clearing for a very long time. There are changes planned in the future to make this weapon more viable for PvP. In my opinion, it's a good buff. So if you want to fame that weapon up before the changes, or want a build that's good for speed clearing, solo and corrupted dungeons, you've come to the right place. First of all, I'll be going over the equipment used, alternative equipment, and food and potions. Then the skills for each equipment and the general rotation of skills. After that, a few tips and tricks while playing an example in the background. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below or pop into the live streams and ask me then. On to the equipment. This build is well known, but since a lot of new players have joined Albion recently, they might not know of it. We start off with the Greataxe. I love this weapon, most people do since it's pretty much spin to win. For the Qs, you have three options: rendering strike, rendering spin, and rendering rage. The first Q is a single target and deals more damage, the second Q is an AoE skill that deals damage to enemies around you, and the third Q deals damage in a cone in front of you. The skill that we will be using is the rendering spin, the second Q, since it deals AoE damage and you don't have to target the enemy like rendering strike. Next, the W spells. If you are low level mastery, then you want to have adrenaline rush for the movement and damage increase. Once you've hit enough mastery to use raging blades, you want to switch to that since it's better for clearing, it does AoE damage and gives you a damage increase for every enemy hit with the blades. Your E skill is whirlwind. Like its name suggests, you spin around to deal huge damage. This skill is a channel skill. What that means is you can interrupt it while casting if you press S for stopping, or you can get hit by forced movement abilities. For the passives, you should go deep cuts for extra damage, or life leech if you're using damage food. Next up, the helmet slot. For this, you want the scholar cowl. The scholar cowl gives you a shield which increases your resistances, and every time you get hit by an attack, it replenishes your mana. You will mainly be using this to replenish your mana since the Greataxe is a mana hungry build. For the passives, you want damage. Next, the armor piece. The most common armor piece used is the stalker jacket since it provides extra AoE damage. For this, you want the electric field, and the passives you want to pick between balanced mind or cooldown reduction. For the leg slot, you want any leather boots, since all leather boots come with the skill refreshing sprint. This skill gives you a movement boost and reduces the cooldown of your skill slightly. For the cheaper option, go mercenary assassins, and for item power go spectre shoes since they are relatively cheap for a tier 3 artifact. For the passives, you want to go balanced mind or cooldown reduction. Next, the cape slot. There is pretty much one cape that is king for speed clearing, and that's the Thetford cape. The Thetford cape gives you a nice damage output every 15 seconds. This means with every mob pack you engage, the cape will be up to deal damage. If you have silver to burn and you want more fame or fame credits, you can take a satchel of insight. The higher the tier, the better. For food and potions, it's pretty simple. You want health regen food such as soups or fish, and for potions, a lot of tier 4 poisons. You want to use the tier 4 poisons to pull extra pack of mobs on high health enemies and on the bosses. For alternative equipment, you can use the Spectre Jacket for more AoE damage, Cultist Robe instead of the healing food and switch to damage food. You can also use Cloth Robes for the increase in damage from the armors. I recommend Cleric Robes since it's a universal armor piece. Next up, the skill rotation. This is the rotation that I use. First up, you want to open up with some rendering spin Qs. Gather the enemies and then use your W raging blades along with your E skill spin to win. Make sure you are using the raging blades before you use your whirlwind to increase the damage. After this combo is done, most of the mobs should be dead. If some of them are still alive, finish them off with a few more Qs. Make sure to press the spacebar to auto attack in between to proc the Thetford cape for extra AoE damage. When you have your scholar cowl up, use it before you do your raging blades whirlwind combo, so every time you get hit during the combo, you regen some mana. Keeping track of your mana determines how fast you'll clear, since if you don't have mana you can't spam your skills. There are two ways you can use your stalker jacket. The first is with your combo before the whirlwind for extra AoE damage, or offset it from your combo so you always have AoE damage for each pull. Sometimes, depending on how you use your combo and refreshing sprint, you might not have the combo up for the next set of mobs due to mob placement. For a refreshing sprint, use it to get to the next mob pack after you've done your combo, so you reduce the cooldown slightly on all your skills and your cape. I also believe this works on your potion cooldown timer. Finally, the tips. First up, solo dungeons. The only thing you need to know is that wait at the entrance of the dungeon for 90 seconds. After these 90 seconds, the dungeon will be closed so no one else can enter and you can fame farm in peace. Use the tier 4 poisons on higher HP mobs and mob packs to pull them together to clump them so you can AoE them down, speeding up your clear time. For corrupted dungeons, don't take the shrine. Right now, the Greataxe is still pretty bad at PvP. Wait for the buff patch. Switch your W skill to Adrenaline Rush, and if you see enemies' name appear, use all your movement skill speeds to get away from them. Try and zigzag when the name tag disappears so they can't follow your movement. Sometimes when they are chasing you, they will be on really low HP since in their mindset you plan to run. If you have your combo ready and you know that they have used their mobility skills, you can turn and deal high burst damage, shaking them even more to create space or even getting a kill. For the less risky fame farming, do solo dungeons. However, with the infamy system of corrupted dungeons, it's better just to do corrupted dungeons, since the more you do them, the better the loot, silver and fame will be. I know people who only PvE corrupteds and are at 2 to 3 mil infamy. If you have any tips of your own or any questions you want to ask, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. The schedule I'm trying to stick to is Monday, Wednesday, Friday will be YouTube videos, and Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday will be streams. If there is no video, there will be a stream that day instead. I have decided to try streaming on YouTube for a few weeks and see the difference between Twitch and YouTube, so your support is much appreciated. Like this video and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you turn on the notification bell so you can get updates when I go live or when I release a new video. That's all for this video. See you guys in the next Albion online video.